Citrix XenServer is an open-source x86 virtualization platform. We sell XenServer as a server consolidation product in its own right, but XenServer is also a key part of Citrix's desktop and cloud solutions. In addition, XenServer is a core component within the SDX platform, where it underpins the NetScaler and CloudBridge product lines. In this video, we're going to tell you about some of the key features of XenServer and also give you an insight into what's going on from a technical perspective under the hood. So I've just installed XenServer on 3 physical hosts, and what I'm doing now is running XenCenter, that's the XenServer user interface, on my Windows laptop, and I've connected to those 3 servers. But what I want to do now is actually join these XenServers together so they actually get to know about each other and become a single cluster rather than just 3 servers that don't talk. So to do that, I'm going to go and create a pool. So if I say add to pool, new pool, I'll call this my demo pool. I won't bother with a description. I'll say that I want to add all 3 servers to make a pool, and I hit create pool. Now I've got one connection to one pool, and inside that pool you can see that just coming online I've got 3 servers within that one pool. There we go. So those green lights now show that all the servers are back online again, and these are all now connected into a single cluster. So here comes the science bit. Let's look at what just happened there from a technical perspective. XenCenter, the client, was connected to 3 individual servers, but we wanted to form a single pool of 3 servers. So we picked one of the servers to be the pool master. And at that point, XenCenter contacted the other 2 hosts and told those 2 hosts to become slaves of that master. It did that by passing in the address of the master and the credentials that the slaves would need to make the connection. The slaves establish their connection to the master, and at that point proceed to tell the pool master everything they know about their world, so themselves and the resources that are under their control. And this allows the pool master to build up a single metadata database that describes all the resources in the entire cluster. XenCenter then drops its connection with the slaves and just keeps the connection with the master open. And from this point onwards, the master will accept all API requests on behalf of the entire pool, forwarding any specific requests that need to be executed on slaves as appropriate. What I'm going to do now is attach some shared storage to this pool so we can create some VMs that can have their disks on that on that shared storage, and we can then move those VMs around between these different servers. So to do that, I'm going to say new SR. SR stands for storage repository, so new storage repository. I'll select the type. I'll say it's an NFS VHD based storage repository. It's fine as a name. I'll put in my share and I'll hit scan because I've actually pre-created one of these things already that's got some disks in. So the system's found it. So I click I want to reattach an existing storage repository and select it. And now hit finish. Yes, I want to reattach it. And here it comes. You can see there it's being created. This has now got a piece of shared storage associated with this pool. So this is an NFS server in the back end. There you go, it's now connected, and the tick there shows that it's live and ready to go. Let's create a virtual machine. So to do that, I can go to the pool, I can say new virtual machine, and I can select from a template. Win7 VM1, hit next. Now I choose where the installation media comes from. It could either be a physical DVD drive, but I've actually attached a storage repository containing a bunch of ISOs, so I'm going to go get it from there. So I should be able to come down and find, here we are, Win7 x64, so that's my installation media. I won't bother assigning this virtual machine a home server. That means it can just happily live anywhere within the pool. That's fine. I'll go with the default number of vCPUs and memory. For the storage, I'll put it on the NFS virtual disk storage. In fact, because I didn't assign a home server, I now have to put it there because I have to put the disk on some shared storage in order that the virtual machine can be migrated around the pool. And for networking, I'll just go with the default of creating 2 virtual network interfaces. Hit finish. There's the virtual machine down here on the pool. It's starting the virtual machine. It's chosen a server to run it on. It's now chosen this one. And if I go in there and look at the console, we should be able to see the installation
starting. So it should be booting at the moment, booting from the CD. Here we go, here's the Windows install procedure starting. So now what I'm going to demonstrate is a live virtual machine migration. So I'm going to move this virtual machine from this server to this server that's also running the Linux virtual machine while the virtual machine continues to run. So to do that, I'm just going to take the virtual machine and I'm just going to drag it to this other server over here. And it says, do you want to migrate it? So I say yes. Migrate's in progress, as you can see from this icon here. I can continue to use the Windows virtual machine. As you can see, I'm typing into it while the migration's in progress. And you go over here, you can see that the migration is in progress at the moment. It's copying the memory from this server to this server. Now this is a very useful function of virtualization because it allows you to decouple the virtual machines from the physical hardware they're running on. So for example, if I wanted to take this server down for maintenance, you see I'm now able to move the virtual machine from this server to another one. So this server now has nothing, or will in a minute have nothing running on it. And then I can take that server down for maintenance, but the users of these virtual machines will be none the wiser. As far as they're concerned, the service just continued to run. So now you can see that the virtual machine has moved, it's back, it's live, it's exactly where it was before, it's like nothing happened, except that it's actually moved its physical server from this one here, the 03061 one, to this one over here, the 03041 one.
So let's take a look at what happened there from a technical perspective. We start copying the memory pages of the virtual machine from the source host to the target host. But of course the issue is the virtual machine continues to run and will therefore be writing to its memory pages while we're doing the copy. So we make sure that the system tracks the set of pages that are dirtied or written to while the copy is in progress. And when the copy's finished, we go back and we do a second phase, but this time only copying the memory pages that got dirtied during the first phase. This will be a smaller set of pages, so it'll take less time. Of course, while that's going on, the virtual machine still continues to run, so we have to go back and do a third phase, this time copying the pages that were dirtied in the second phase, and so on and so forth, each time converging until we end up with a small number of pages, and the small number of pages that's so small that we can just pause the virtual machine on the source, and then copy those final remaining pages across to the target, attach any storage and network devices that are required on the target, and unpause the virtual machine, leaving the user unaware that anything just happened, even though the virtual machine has actually moved from one physical server to another one.
One of the powerful things about XenServer is that all the functionality that's exposed in the Xen Center administrator console that you can see here is also exposed from the server via CLI and API calls, so everything is automatable in that respect. So here I've got a secure shell open to this host up here, which is the master of the pool, and you can see I can use the XE command line to do whatever I want to do. So I could just say, show me a list of virtual machines. There's a list of virtual machines. You can see my Windows virtual machine here. There's my Linux one. If I was to extend that to say, show me all the metadata about virtual machines, as you can see there's quite a lot of metadata that the system has in its database, all of which is available from the API. If I want to perform an action on this virtual machine, let's see I do a VM shutdown of this Windows 7 VM. And you can see I can execute that command via the CLI, and immediately you can see over here the icon here has gone orange, reflecting a VM lifecycle operation in progress, and you can now see the virtual machine is actually being shut down.
XenServer contains a lot more functionality than we've had time to show you in this short video. For example, features like high availability, disaster recovery, and snapshot of virtual machines and storage are all features included in the platform. If you'd like to find out more about XenServer from a technical perspective, please check out these URLs.